Hey guys, welcome back to DMAC Customs on YouTube. Dave here in the garage, Area 51, back glass scratches. Gonna see if I can do something about it. This is gonna be a gamble, but either way, if it doesn't work, I don't know if I could get the car legal with the glass the way it is here in New Zealand. So let's go. Okay, so I'm actually making two videos simultaneously at the moment, so two different topics, but while I'm waiting for paint to dry on those things for the last video, I'm going to have a look at this. Now, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but this rear screen is covered in heaps of ice scraper scratches, some relatively deep. That's a bit of polish. I did try just normal glass cleaners and stuff like that on it, but it didn't work. And there's a couple of chips there too, but I'm not sure what to do about those as yet. Did a little bit of research on scratches in glass and what to do about them, and I skipped through a video on YouTube, so now I'm a YouTube expert. So I'm gonna have a crack at it. It involves like a kind of cutting and polishing process, so I hope it works. I've bought some stuff, some special Cerium Oxide or something. I'll find out the name and I'll tell you about it later. But start with, I've got to sand my back glass. I've got to sand it with like 120 and cut it down and see if I can start getting these scratches out of it. So let's get into it. Scary. Okay, so scary. What have I learnt so far? Takes quite a while, and my back's sore. Leaning over and going, ooh. But yeah, you can still see scratches. I've been kind of going into it with 120 and 180, and yeah, it's sort of hard to know how hard, you know, how much pressure you can push. Like, I don't want to kind of like break the glass, but it's kind of getting somewhere at the moment, but I think I'll be quite a few passes over the top of it. Seems to, once you've kind of broken the shine off basically and got it to like this, it does seem to sand up a lot easier once you've taken that outer layer off. Don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, yeah, I was supposed to get silicon carbide discs, but by the time I got into the paint shop, they had such a small sort of selection of discs and, you know, like pads and stuff in general, I kind of just took what they had. So I'll probably end up going through quite a few. I've already gone through the two 120s that I bought yesterday, and I'm into my other stock of just cheap Temu and Amazon ones for that kind of grade. But yeah, it's sort of, now that I've stopped and wiped it back, I'm seeing remnants of a lot of the scratches again, whereas it looked like before, it looked like they were kind of disappearing. And I was wondering how far to take it down. Should I try and get rid of those with the heavier stuff, and then all the rest of it is just bringing it up for polishing? I think that's the best way to go, but we'll carry on, and hopefully we'll be able to see out of this thing again one day. Maybe today, maybe in about 3 weeks of polishing and stuff. Okay, so been through a bunch of 180 pads and 120 pads and stuff, and we're at at this point here. Still kind of in a few places see, there's a deeper bit, bits like that. Can see something there but can't feel it. Where's that one? That was probably, can see that, can just feel it. But I'm kind of a bit, I'm not sure how far to take it down. Washing machine. So it's quite nerve-wracking, and my hands are tingling from that DA. I forgot how much it vibrates through my hands, so probably not good for the old nervous system. But anyway, I'll carry on. I might go and have a little break, go and have a cup of tea, coffee or something, and then come back and start going down through the paper grades. Next up, I'm going to hit it with some 320 and see what that does. Wish me luck. Hey guys, so just went to start doing a bit of sanding on the old windscreen with some 320, and the old DA went into full grinder mode, which is not really ideal. What it did was just gets gummed up, and that bit won't spin, it's just completely bound, so it just basically goes whip, and yeah, it's not ideal. So just taking it apart and giving it a bit of a clean. Now I'm just putting it back together. Didn't really need to take that bit off, but I did. It's a bit of a pain to get back on, but I think it just pushes back in there. Yeah. Yeah, so now just that's spinning all nice and free, so I just kind of used a bit of 556 CRC, a little bit of poetry there for you. Get that back into how it should be behaving. Now I've just got to put this back on. Carry on. Okay, so the old rupees is, I think, shitting the bed electrically this time. So I don't think it's dual actioning as well as it should do. It might be the glass dust or something, which is a pain because the only other 5-inch DA I've got is pneumatic and 6-inch I should say. And my compressor doesn't have enough kind of oomph to really operate this properly, unfortunately. But I might have to switch to it anyway. It'll run a little bit slower, but I have got another electric dual action sander. It's a bit of a hefty bugger, but it's 4-inch pads or something, 5-inch or something. It's smaller anyway, and of course I've gone out and bought like the big stuff, the big guns. I wonder if it would fit on though. I could probably still use it. What would I do? Might be alright. Might have to switch to it unfortunately, but yeah, the old rupees might have had its day in the sun, so to speak. Shame. Oh well. I didn't pay any money for it. Glad. Okay, so not being very good at YouTubing today. This is kind of one of those jobs where I don't really know what I'm doing, so I just kind of get into it and don't really explain really what I'm trying to do. I guess I probably have, but what I'm trying to explain is the steps I'm taking with all of this. So I can't remember what I was talking about last, but I went down into 320 and then into 600, and the old Ruples DA left the chat. So I've been using this, which in some respects is good because it's variable speed, and I feel kind of more comfortable kind of getting out to the edges, whereas the old Ruples was a bit kind of a little bit punchy. So at this point I've stepped down to these 800 pads, which are a soft pad, kind of in as part of the polishing process. And as I'm kind of getting it, you know, smoothing out some of my sanding marks, I am finding some of my scratches again that I couldn't see before. There's a few chips in that as well. There's a little scratch there, there's a bit left of one there. Where did I see one before? I've kind of gone back in to a couple of areas and kind of gone in back in with like 240 and then 320 and then 600 and kind of done little touch-ups, but I think I kind of have found the worst of them. There's a couple of decent chips there. Might try some of that chip gluey stuff. But yeah, so I'm just kind of carrying on. I'm going to go down through 800, 1200, 2000 and 3000 on the pads and see how we can get it, and then before we hit it with the polish. So I'll just carry on. First pass with some 1200, which is actually back to normal paper, not those pads. So I'm going to go over it a couple more times with the 1200 and then we'll move on to the 2000, I think. But you know, as long as I can polish it up enough in the final stage that I can see through it, we should be alright. It doesn't look as scratched up and ugly as it did before. So we'll keep going and check back in. Okay, so that's 3 passes with 1200. Now we're on to the, oh, that's an 800 pad. 2000. Don't think I've ever sanded anything with me as fine as 2000, but let's do it. Protect the ears. Okay, so a couple of passes with the 2000. Now I'm going to do a couple of passes with the 3000, and then we might have a look at this polish and see whether it's enough, the sanding's been enough, or I've not sanded enough on the finer stuff, you know. I don't know whether I'll still have sanding marks from the heavier grits or not, but we'll find out. Okay, so that's that down to 3000. Rings probably scratch it again on the old thing there. Now you can still see a couple of little things, but I reckon it's looking heaps better as long as I can polish it enough to be able to, you know, bring it back from the frosted glass look and into a kind of like transparent glass look. And with that being said, I bought a couple of these kits off Trade Me, which is like eBay, but I think they're just kits that they get from Temu, and it's just resellers. So they got a little kind of felt hook and loop kind of pads and a couple of little doohickeys. They have this stuff here, which is you mix with water. It's called, I have to I'll look it up, hang on a sec. You going? Okay, it's called Cerium Oxide. So yeah, that's the stuff there. So I did a little bit of a test with it during the week on a bit of the old glass, just found a scratch and kind of went through a bit of a sanding process with what I had, and then tried that, and yeah, it works. So as long as I've got enough to get through the whole screen. That's why I bought 2 of these kits, because I don't know how far it'll go. But yeah, you mix that about 50-50 with water, and you make it kind of a paste, and then just on a drill or a die grinder, like 90-degree thing or something, or if you've got a lot of proper polishing things for a small DA or something, you do it with that. So that's next. So I might just have a little bit of a tidy up. I won't put everything away just yet, because I may find deeper scratches or something that I can maybe go back in and give a bit of a touch up, and then go through all the motions and that again, and then polish again. So if I put everything away, sure as shit I'll find stuff that I need sanding stuff again for. If I don't put it away, we're good. Know what I'm saying? It happens to the best of us. Okay, so little clean up, toilet break, and then we'll get polishing. Just thought I might add as well, like, I know this screen, I think I found it online for like $250 or something, so which is not ridiculous. I actually think it's quite reasonable, but being that I'm here in New Zealand, for me to get that, we're basically looking, I don't know what the exchange rate is, so it's 250 US. I always just kind of like double it by the time you kind of factor in sales taxes and crap like that, and even when it comes into the country there'll be taxes and crap like that, and shipping, like shipping from the US to here for something, if I can get it shipped, would just be next level. Like it might be at least double again, so I could be looking $1,000 New Zealand to get that landed here, which is, it's not ridiculous money, but it is ridiculous for that, in my opinion. So if this can work to an acceptable kind of standard, I'm probably about $100 into it. So, and hours so far, I'm about 3 or 4 hours into it. So, but anyway, I'm gonna go and have some lunch or something, and then we can get polishing. Ta-da! Okay, so got me some of this stuff. Don't know how much I'll start with. I might just do a bit of half the bag, and then I'll add some water. And find something to stir it with. Knife. Might have put too much water in there actually. Straight off the bat. Oh, I might put the rest of this in there. I've got another bag of it, so but might as well put it all in there, into a penny, in for a pound. That'll do. Alright, polishing stuff. So got this little kit. It's quite cool. It comes with a little pad. Tighten that up. Little crescent. It's not actually a crescent, it's a china. So tighten that up. Alright, let's go. Get some of that in there. covered in this, I can tell, but okay, so I don't know if you can see it on the camera, like this thing picks up heaps of stuff but not kind of other stuff, but it's coming around. Now it's still obviously hazy and stuff, but you can sort of see, you know, the two kind of areas where I've been and mist up the middle there. It's still kind of hazy around there, but yeah, have to be careful because it's pulling it off the panel stands, like the friction of it sort of thing, and also don't want to overheat it, so I'll just keep moving around and hopefully it won't drop off the panel stand. I'll update you in a wee bit. Okay, so update. So it is working. As you can see, that's where I've kind of gone up to, but it's still really hazy, and I've been over this about, what, a good sort of 4 or 5 times. Covered in this stuff. So I can see a few kind of swirl marks and stuff from my DA here and there, so I'm wondering whether I didn't go far enough down with my fine paper, but it really didn't seem like it was doing anything anyway. So I wonder if I should chuck some of that 2000 or something back on, maybe the 3000, and just give it another kind of good scene too with that, see what it does, and then see if I can take it down a bit more with the sanding rather than this stuff here. I mean, I've gone into it, been real liberal with the paste, the Cerium Oxide, and I've been stingy with it and tried to run it, you know, keep it wet, tried running it dry, fast, slow on the old DeWalt there. So am I just being impatient? Have I got the wrong kind of tool for the job? The video I watched with a guy doing it, he was using, it was almost like a small palm DA type of thing. It could have been a rotary type sander or spinning thingamajig, but yeah, it was only kind of small pads, a little bit bigger than what I've got, but it was more like a small DA type, palm sandery type thing, you know what I'm saying? So what should I do? I don't know, I have a think. Okay, so here we are, hand wet sanding. Kind of closer inspection, I noted a lot more sort of swirly marks from the old DA, and I've kind of chewed through all the kind of suitable paper that I had. So I've got some wet and dry 600, so I'm just going over the whole thing, just trying to cut it down a bit more, just to take some of the sort of swirliness out of it. And it's slow going, but we're going somewhere, I don't know where. Hell in a hand basket, so they say. But yeah, being that glass is so hard, it's pretty hard on the old sandpaper, so I'm economising. But using plenty of it, you know, fresh piece sort of thing. I'm not sure what else I've got in the way of wet and dry. I think I had maybe some 1200. But we'll just keep persevering and sanding. I won't film too much more of this. I might just give you a bit of a rundown at the end of it. I probably should have, like, I googled what's good sandpaper for sanding glass, and the result was silicon carbide sandpapers, you know. And yeah, like I said earlier, I got kind of a little distracted by the lack of selection in the automotive paint shops. I don't know where maybe the professional shops get all their stuff from somewhere else, I don't know, but yeah, they didn't really have a lot, just a smattering of different brands, you know, Norton and some 3M, those foam pads for 3M I think, and yeah, so I just kind of got what they had, and some of it, I think, yeah, within a couple of spins of the old DA, that kind of the teeth were gone, sort of thing, you know, because glass is harder than like a paint finish, that's for sure. Anyway, carry on. Okay, update. I haven't really got any further. I've been sanding, I've been polishing, I've been sanding, I've been polishing, and it's still, you know, hazy. Yeah, this area here has kind of been kind of wet sanded and polished and wet sanded again. I think I didn't really do enough steps with paper that could do what it was supposed to do. Like I was saying before, the finer paper was just losing its edge, and I was just like, might as well be using photocopy paper, if that makes sense. And so like that red shit does what it's supposed to do, but I haven't got the sanding right on the glass, sort of thing. The first stage, I think, good as gold, like 120, 240, 180-ish, those kind of ranges were fine. But getting into the sort of 6, 8, 1200, 1500, I didn't actually have any 1500, so I didn't do that. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. As far as getting the scratches out goes, for the most part, I think if I could polish it up, I'll be happy with it. There's still a couple of deeper ones that are sort of like that one there. You can just feel it on your fingernail. By the time I get the sanding part right, we might be okay. Could be, I mean, my DA kind of crapped out at the kind of wrong time as well. Blaming all my tools, not me at all. It was not my fault. So yeah, but that's where I'm going to leave it today, because today's the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight on Netflix, so I'm going to go and watch that and see what the outcome of that is. I'm a little bit torn on that one, because, you know, Mike Tyson, one of the greatest. Jake Paul, YouTuber, upstart. so yeah, where do we go with that? Anyway, yeah, we'll be back on this, whether it's tomorrow or not. I really wanted to be on the side glass today, but I was waiting for paint to dry, and so I got sidetracked doing this, and this has taken me all day to kind of get to where I've got a hazy back windscreen. So I've got to figure this out. So have I wrecked my screen? Don't know. We'll see. We'll be back. Hey guys, so it's been quite quite some time since I started this video, probably maybe a couple of months. I got sidetracked with wiring and stuff on the old Area 51 project after I started this while I was waiting on some supplies arriving. They have arrived. Namely, it was just sanding discs. And so, but we're back on this glass and going to try and a different tool. Basically, I'm going to use my buffer to sand this, but I've got another pad that I want to try and fit onto it. Hopefully it'll work. I'll have to get into that and get that fitted on there, because I did some more YouTubing and discovered that a lot of the videos they were using more of a rotary sander rather than a DA as such. So we're going to give it another go. I can't make it any worse other than, I mean, I probably could. It's actually highly likely. But I mean, the glass wasn't really good enough to put into the car anyway, so if I wreck it, I've wrecked it. If it's still, you know, like as it was before, those scratches, there were just too many and it just looked shit. And even then, I'm not sure whether, you know, our regulatory shit would let that fly, being so scratched as it was. So we'll give it a go. If I can't get it right-ish, then I might have to save the pennies and get some new glass from America. Can get it. It's not that dear over there, but it's just kind of dear by the time you get it here, if you know what I mean. But anyway, I've got to get into that buffer and see if I can make the changes I need to make to it to make this work. Okay, so it's a little bit rinky-dink, but I bought this 4-inch pad, I think it is, or 5-inch pad, to try and fit on here, and it's for a different type of piece of machinery, but I've managed to adapt it by cutting the center out of it and putting a grinder hold down or a sanding disc hold down thing on there, so it seems to run pretty true. Ish. Okay, so we've got a whole bunch of sanding paper, all different grades, going up to 3000, starting at 80. Don't need the 80s, I'm not going to go that heavy. 180 there, so might start with that. I'll organise these discs into order of appearance basically. A whole bunch of 3000s, so it should be all good. 2000s, they're all 2000. I'm already bleeding, how do I do that? 1500s, 1000, 800s. Okay, we'll change this around. 2000, that should be 15,000, 800, 400, 320, 240, and 80s. Not going to use the 80s, so we might start with some 180. Give it a shot. Okay, where are we up to? I'm just on my second kind of pass, well, my first pass with the 240, but I thought I probably should put something like this on to stop me ingesting all that silica dust. But the paper's working reasonably good, I think. It's hard to tell till you start getting finer and then you realise you've missed scratches. Like I just spied something just there. But yeah, definitely taking out some of the finer ones and leaving some of the deeper ones, but hopefully by the time we get down through that pack of discs, we'll have like rice paper thin piece of glass and you might be able to see through it. Anyway, we'll carry on. So I'm on the 240 at the moment, and we'll do a few passes with that, and then I'll switch it up and keep working my way down through the grades. It's going to fold me up though, isn't it? Probably. Okay, so I've been working my way down in the papers, down to, gone through 400, did about 4 passes with 400, now I'm on to 800 because that's next in my stacks. So carry on. Yeah, mask, dust mask. $800. Okay, update. I might need a new rag, that one's sopping. I'm down to, just gone through with the 1000 grit. I started adding a bit of water into the mix because the pads were kind of like binding up. I've been trying to get as flat as I can, but I still seem to be hitting that outer edge more than anything. But go over it enough, crisscrossing and stuff. Hopefully I haven't made like a Ripley Ocean kind of scene. But yeah, so by using a bit of water on the pads, they're not really wet and dry pads, these brownie coloured ones, I don't think. It sort of stops the paper gumming up, well, kind of not gumming up as such like in the traditional sense, but kind of getting bound up with very fine glass powder, you know what I'm saying? She's coming along slowly. Like when you spray some water on there, it's not looking too bad, but it's whether I can get that final polish down, get the haze and that out of it. Is that a scratch on the inside? There's a couple of small scratches on the inside. I'm not going to bother with those. It's definitely this outer part of the glass that I wanted to kind of get the worst of them out. There's still a few bits in there, nothing horrific, I don't think. I can see a bit through there. Anyway, down to 1500 now, I think. Okay, so been right through, done a whole bunch of passes with 3000, 2000, 1500, all that kind of stuff, and we're at this stage here. Definitely feels a lot nicer, still very kind of hazy, plus it's like I've got stuff all over the other side of it as well now. When you wet it, definitely looks clearer, but now we're on to the like shit called again, Cerium Oxide or something like that. Rotary toolkit, yeah. This stuff. The red stuff, the red dust, red dirt, Mars dust. So, might go and have a bit of a coffee or something before I get started on that. Back's starting to give me a little bit of jip, you know what I'm saying. But I think definitely the paper, I mean, it wasn't flash paper, it was just off the internet sort of stuff, but it had a really good range of step downs, and they're all the same size and all the same brand, and definitely made a difference having that variety, that range, you know, all those steps, to be able to kind of cut down and kind of see what you're doing. Spraying a bit of water on there definitely helps. There's still like kind of rotary marks that I'm not sure whether the polish will get out, but we'll give it a shot. But for now, it's going to go and have a little break. Right, here we go. Turn it down a bit. Working. It's going to take a while, but it is working. So you can see, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, you can see that kind of line there where I sort of stopped. That's just with the first pass. Need to get out the edges a bit more, but you can actually see right through there. That's a bit more polished than that bit. So I'll go through the whole thing and then go through it again and again and again and again and again until it's all done. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so that's one pass over the whole thing. Definitely coming up, it's going to take a few passes, I think, though. Key thing with this, it's supposed to keep it wet, but man, it's getting warm, so it just keeps drying out. So hence kind of spraying it, just trying to keep it wet, but then it dilutes it, so it's not as effective. So kind of catch-22 in that respect. Yeah, messy job. Sprays this shit all over the place. But yeah, so I'll just carry on and hopefully meet you at the end. Hopefully don't break it still. It's the washing machine. Sorry, Evan. Okay, so I think I'm done with this polishing with Cerium Oxide or Oxalate or whatever the hell it's called. It's getting too hot, and it's kind of drying out that paste really fast, so then it's burning the glass. Just the friction, and I'm running it, you know, that's why I'm using that polisher, because it's variable speed and I can run it down slow. Tried fast and slow, just in case you're wondering. Fast dried out the paste even more quicker, you know what I mean? When this is wet, it's definitely clear. There's still a little bit of a haze there, so washing machine. There's still a bit of a haze on the glass from the sanding and stuff, but it's pretty minor. Won't really know 100% till it's back in the car and sun hits it and stuff like that. Looking at it from this viewpoint, it's not too bad. Just giving it all a good kind of clean now. Trying not to get it re-dirtied again. Then I might clean it with just water and then isopropyl. Now I'm using some Armor All glass cleaner just to kind of get all my marks and stuff off it. And hopefully it'll be good enough. It's definitely better than it was, so in some respects. The scratches are gone, but the haze is kind of newish. Alright, dry that off. Might even chuck some Rain-X on it to see what that does. Still getting a lot of this stuff off the edges. Yeah, but it's better. We'll have a good look in a minute. Hey guys, so I'm done with this. I've had enough. I've given it all a real good clean with ISO a couple of times around, and then I kind of that glass cleaner, and then I went over it a few times with just some Rain-X just to see if that would change anything. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera, but there is still a little bit of hazing in that. The deep scratches are definitely gone, but there's little bits of hazing left from my sanding. So I mean, I possibly could have spent more time on the grades, especially the finer stuff, but I think it'll be alright. I've had worse windscreens on cars before. And looking out the back, so who cares. But yeah, so that's kind of saved. Would I do it again? Probably not, to be honest. It was a lot of work, and for you guys that live in the lower 48 and that one in the States and stuff like that, I wouldn't even bother. You can buy this, which is money, but so I thought I'd give it a try. If I do end up having to buy front glass, I may buy some back glass at the same time and just put a new piece in, because then it might be worth the shipping, if you know what I mean. I've got my front screen to cut down yet, so I don't know how that'll go. If I cock it up and break it, then I'll be in for new glass anyway, and the front glass isn't great either. It's better than what the back glass was, arguably is. Goofy, weird laugh. But yeah, so that's a task done. Interesting project for me to do, but yeah, a lot of work, and I'm happy-ish with the result. I would have liked it to have been a bit nicer, but now every time I start with the polish and that, it seems to be burning the glass, and I'm trying to keep it wet and it's like burning the glass, and then I have to kind of like try and gently polish out those kind of burns. It's like burning through paint when you're buffing paint. It seemed to leave this weird sort of texture and that kind of, well, this colour in the glass. Actually, there's a bit on the corner I might be able to show you. Down here. Can you see it? Probably not. Or maybe it was just dust. Anyway, maybe I didn't do it. But yeah, so that's it. Done. That's that little project done. What a mess though. I mean, these are going in the bin. You can say goodbye to my old Kinsman Poker Run shirt. It was getting a bit stuffed anyway. These shorts were already been washed, and it doesn't come out in the wash that well. But yeah, so I'm going to wrap this up, put it away for now. Or should I want to have a go at putting the glass in? So maybe I'll put it in. Not today, but yeah, we'll wrap it up and put it away for now. And then I've got to have a bit of a clean up and just get rid of all my rubbish. These are all the pads, sanding pads that I went through today. As I said earlier, ranging from 180 right up to 3000, and I used quite a few of those. I was doing about half the glass with per pad per pass, and then so each pass I was going through a couple, you know, because they just seem to lose their edge because the glass being so hard. But it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so summary. That is my summary. I wouldn't do it again. I'd save my money and buy the glass, but it's usable, and it'll probably fit the car. But yeah, so as always, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications bell if you want to get notified. Like, share to some of your favorite Facebook groups and help me grow my channel. The latest videos on the wiring have been a bit dismal. I know that's not terribly interesting, but you know, it's all part of the project, part of doing this shit, you know. And it has to be done. So anyway, carry on. On the Facebook, on the Instagram, right here on YouTube, most importantly. As always, thanks very much for watching. Until next time, take it easy and peace. I'm going to go and I'm going to clean up, and then I'll get myself cleaned up. See you next week.